I'm going to call December 1st, 2015 Mechanicsburg Borough Council in order. And just to let you know, ahead of time, we had an executive session with personnel and possible litigation with no action that was taken. We will now start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
President McCollum.
Here.
Vice President Winchell. Here. Councilman McDermott. Calvin.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Donor.
Here.
Wagner.
Here.
Mayor Ritter.
Here.
Solicitor Coin. Here. Engineer Rogowski.
Here.
Chief Myers. Here. Chief Sechrist.
Here.
Secretary Dennis.
Here. We have guests. The Recycle Right Reward presentation. Patrick, is that correct?
That's correct.
Hi, good evening. I'm one of the volunteers who goes around surveying recycling bins, and Diane is one of my partners in crime here, and Carl is the other one. And our job is really threefold. Our job is to survey the bins and get a bead on how the town is doing with its recycling. Then we find really good bins and put those addresses into the office, and the office finds out who belongs to that bin, and they draw a name so that we can reward somebody. The Recycling Right Rewards for the Recycling Right Rewards program. And the third part of our program is probably one of the most important, and that is finding supportive businesses locally to supply the prizes. And one of our most faithful supporters in this effort has been the Weiss Markets, and I would like to introduce Andrew Campbell, who is manager of Weiss Markets, and I've asked him to give us some words of wisdom about recycling for the good of the order.
Well, a couple things we do with our company is basically we recycle everything. We recycle our food waste, we recycle cardboard, wax cardboard, deli containers, food containers, plastic buckets, even our floral buckets that come in all the flowers and everything. We recycle those every year, and then we even get some money back in rewards as far as monetary things as well, in order to continue those efforts in recycling. This past year, we won, as a company, we won the Sustainability Award for 2015 with our recycling efforts. And it's very disciplined to my associates as well in the building that they recycle everything as well. They see aluminum cans in a trash can, they take those out, put them in a separate bin to send back to our warehouse for recycling as well.
Well, I thank you so much. The Weiss store has been so supportive of us over the years. And they have an award for our winner, and the Borough has an award, if you hold that up, to hang on proudly on his wall, and we're hoping when neighbors look at this, they'll say, ooh, where'd you get that? And then Mr. Millhouse will explain. It's hard to find a perfect bin. It could look so good, and then there will be a plastic bag in it or something. But the Millhouses had a perfect bin, and we are honoring them tonight. Mr. Paul Millhouse of Filbert Street, would you come on up and get your award, please? Right. You want to go over there? Now Diane will give you your award plaque that we hope you'll hang proudly in your kitchen. And Mr. Campbell will reward you with your gift certificate to the Weiss store. Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
And thank you, Mr. Millhouse.
And thank you all.
You hold it down a little bit. Thank you.
Next on the agenda is the Herb Awards.
Mr. Haynes.
I'm sorry, I don't know the gentleman.
Mr. Haynes.
Huh?
Mr. Haynes.
Brian Haynes.
Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of Borough Council. My name is Brian Haynes, and I'm the chairperson for the Borough's Historic Architectural Review Board. I'm here along with board members Eric Query and Linda Humes, who are here to present our 2015 Harb Awards. As you may recall, 2 years ago we started an awards program, really just to recognize not only properties that have done a project within the last year, but also properties that are very well cared for. We care as much about just the great job that many of the property owners do as stewards of the historic properties here to preserve the properties for future generations. So again, this year we've got some really great projects that have happened within the borough, and we're very fortunate in the borough to have such great historic properties in the historic district. This year we are recognizing 6 properties in total. We've got 2 different levels of award. One is a certificate of recognition, which is for a property that's either come before the board for a project throughout the year, or again, just a steward of a good historic property. And then we have a recognition of excellence award, which is a property that has just gone above and beyond and has done just a fantastic job for maintaining or renovating their project. For the certificate of recognitions, we have a certificate that we prepared that is in a portfolio. And for the recognition of excellence awards, we have a cast bronze plaque. They're actually quite heavy. These are similar to the plaques that the National Register gives out. We've done 2 of these awards for the last couple of years, and what we really hope is that the people who receive, at the very least, the Certificate of Excellence plaques mount them on the outside of the building. We won't require them to take a hard approval to do that. But yeah, if they take those, I know last year, really the last 2 years, I kind of went around the borough to see where the recipients hung them, and they were all hung within, I think, about 2 weeks of receiving the award, so that was a great thing. So if you walk around the borough, you'll see there are a couple of plaques from prior years. So we have 4 certificates of recognition and 2 certificates of excellence. And what we try to do is we try to recognize 1 commercial or public property for each of the excellence awards, and then it's a combination of residential and public properties for the recognition awards. So the first recognition award is to Thomas Kinney for 106 West Main Street. I know most people are here, but I think there are a couple that couldn't make it. Thomas, you want to come up here? You guys want to come up?
Come on up here.
Linda?
Congratulations.
Very nice job.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, our next certificate of recognition is to Stephen and Laura Seedor. Am I pronouncing that properly? Is it? Okay, great. And that's for 123 South Market Street. Congratulations. Thank you very much. next award is to David A. Russell for 139 East Main Street. David Russell here? No, he must be one of the ones that were not able to come tonight. And our next certificate of recognition goes to Carmel Colors of 13 East Main Street. So what kind of Carmel Colors here?
I think they were left messages, but they didn't return
Okay.
the phone calls.
And then we have the two Certificate of Excellence Awards. And the first one, just did an absolutely magnificent project for Grace United Methodist Church. The large addition that was put on the back. And as an architect, I'll tell you, I just am dumbfounded at the quality of the stonework. It's just a beautiful, beautiful project. So we're very, very fortunate to have a project like that here in the borough. So is there a representative of Grace United Methodist Church here? Careful, Ted, these are the mounting balls. This is that. Thank you. Absolutely, certainly.
I'd like to introduce briefly the people that are here, so you know who they are. First, Rusty Garner. On the right is a member of our leadership council. Pete Harold of the building committee that did a great job on getting the addition put on. The addition was a small addition with an elevator, so we have handicap accessibility and an office for the pastor. Jeff Williams from ECI, who's the contracting company, did an absolutely fabulous job for us. Pastor Mike Langford is our new pastor. He just came to us in July. And our previous pastor is now serving at a church in Lewisburg in the northern part of the state. And my name is David Winston. I'm a trustee of the church. And I think Pete has one short, brief word to say about something.
You're hoping it's short and brief. Actually, they're yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, we'd like to praise God for the vision and the foresight, and then the teaming that went on when we built this facility. We went into some intrepidation as a congregation. It was a pretty expensive endeavor. We wanted to cut corners to save money, and we had a great architect. And sadly, Mr. Dan Kreitzer, who was the architect for our facility, passed away unexpectedly at an early age of a heart attack 3 months prior to the finish of our facility. So I would like to dedicate this plaque to Dan Kreitzer, who really had the vision. But I'd also like to put a plug in, if I might, for ECI. Jeff here and the whole ECI team, ahead of schedule, under budget the whole time, walked beside us through the whole project. Couldn't ask for a better set of partners in this whole project. And I'd also like to thank the borough and the harbor board for walking beside us as well as we went ahead with this project. And it was because of that entire team that we were able to, we'd like to be good stewards of the community. And trust me, if it had been me as chair of the building capital campaign, there wouldn't have been stone, there wouldn't have been slate, there would have been vinyl siding. But Dan Kreitzer kept us focused and kept us on target, so I'd like to acknowledge him here this evening. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Really, very, very, very nice.
I wouldn't know how you got that stone look so much like the old.
They quarried it in the very similar quarry.
Okay.
We actually stole it from First Church.
He didn't just say that.
Really? Oh, my Lord. Yeah, liars that
And then our last Certificate of Excellence goes to Karen today. That's right by now. Is that right?
That was right.
Is it? There you go, okay. For 318 South Market Street.
It's not terrible, but it's pretty heavy.
It is. Okay, I got it. You got that one?
Yep.
Okay.
These are the mountain goals you might want to.
I might need some help with that part, but. And I don't have a speech.
So we're very, very fortunate in this borough to have the kind of quality architecture that we have and the historic properties. I mean, there are so many great properties. We'd love to be able to recognize more. And of course, there's always next year. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have any citizens' comments or requests? I see a hand. Glenda.
Good evening, everyone. I may be a little out of line by making this request, but I feel that it is something that is in good standing. Last week, I attended the funeral of Pauline Mayberry. I would hope that someone on this council would propose a resolution in his memory, considering the fact he was a Mechanicsburg businessman, he worked at another Mechanicsburg business, and he had also been a prisoner of war from the Battle of Bulge. He devoted his life to the people of this borough. He probably performed as many funeral services as what the mayor has performed at wedding ceremonies, and maybe more. So I just hope that someone up here appreciates what he had done for this borough and will make that proposal of the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda, can you contact the borough manager with all the information you're supplying, please? Any other citizen comments? We'll need a motion for approval of the minutes of the council meeting of November the 17th, 2015.
Motion to approve.
Motion made.
Second.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any additions to the committee portion of the agenda? Seeing none, we need a motion for approval of the committee agenda. Motion been made.
Second.
Second. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Community and Economic Development, Councilman Weber.
I would defer to Councilman Pellman.
Okay. Recently, the Downtown Mechanicsburg Partnership had conducted its largest endeavor to raise money, and that was, of course, the salute dinner to Ernie Zimmerman. And their estimated profit from the salute dinner was $13,925. So very successful venture, and we're a very deserving honoree. Saturday, November 14th, members of the Downtown Partnership, and including myself, it was cleanup day. And along with getting leaves out from behind and beside and in front of buildings along Main Street, some perennials were planted at the welcome sign on East Main Street. And in regards to earlier meetings where I mentioned that the Downtown Partnership was interested in possibly placing chairs out at various places in the downtown, they pretty much revised that to looking into getting benches instead, so that there's places to sit, more places to sit downtown, and people can enjoy the downtown a little bit better. And that's all I have.
You done too, Gary?
I am, except for
Downtown Coordinator, Rebecca.
Good evening, everyone. You all have a copy of my report, but before that, I throwback night. I brought someone for show and tell tonight. With me is one of my friends and associates, Dawn Kibler, his wife Jean. Dawn is a resident and councilman-elect from New Cumberland Borough, and he is making rounds and visiting a lot of other municipalities, many boroughs. I've asked him to join us here tonight, come to Mechanicsburg to see how it's run and how things are done. It'll be a very good experience for him. Under About Face, we have an application from Sandy Huffman and her business, Amos Went West. This project is going on slower than many of us would like, so we're going to hold on this one for a little while, make sure that the business gets up and running. She expects to be in there in March or so. What she's looking for is funding for the sidewalk portion, the walkway to the side, which wouldn't happen until the spring anyway, so nothing lost there. Taylor and Derek Eisenberger have applied. You know about their project. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes here. This would be for improvements to the existing building. That too is part of their larger project. Nate Larson Meadworks will submit an application, hopefully in time for the January HARB meeting. And Larry North's second floor gallery project, which is the patio portion, a concrete, stamped concrete landscaped area in front there. We've tabled that to 2016 as well, given the weather. Under business and property updates, I noticed some activity at 1 East Main Street, contacted the family there. They tell me that they're not sure what's going on inside, but it has not been leased, so I'll continue to track that. Members First Federal Credit Union has offered a letter of commitment. They will be doing the major financing for Taylor For You Bridal Boutique. We have a loan review committee scheduled next Thursday evening, and if that group recommends, and I expect they will, approval of loan, they will come to council. We will come to council on the 15th and ask for your concurrence. That's the $266,000 project to build a 1,500 square foot replica building right next to where they are now to double their space. This is, again, Taylor and Derek Eisenberger, an existing business. We're going to be requesting 2 waivers. One, because this business is beyond the eligibility zone, even though it's on Main Street, it's 3 doors down. The traditional border is at Walnut Street. And the other is because it's $20,000 over the traditional maximum. But it meets all of the waiver requirements, and it's a great business. And she has 2 daughters. One I'm sure will take over the business. That's the plan. They may even be here on the 15th, so you can ask them yourself. Not So Shabby Chic has opened at 226 East Main Street. Christine Dixon is the owner. This is a business that was in Luzerne County. She's moved here, and now it's part of our inventory. Larson Meadworks will open any day now. They need a couple more code approvals, pretty easy things, PLCB approvals, and then they'll be having their wine production and sales right at the site. In the meantime, he's been doing a great job partnering with other businesses to promote his business and getting the word out. Brittle Bark, Rosemary House, Brain Vessel, and others. Jim Geedy and Ken Dar have officially purchased the Tremendous Life book facility right down the street here. They have a grand reopening event on January 14th. They're going to be expanding their businesses, Logie Systems, Hot Frog Media, Hot Frog Apparel, and they have some other things in line too coming up. In relation to the property at 203 East Main Street, the condemned, blighted, fire-ravaged property, we have a lot of things going on there. The engineering study was complete. With that, we have put together our submission that goes to the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission and the Federal Council on Historic Preservation. They both will weigh in on whether or not we can demolish that property. We need to know that before we can acquire the property and use federal funds. So the attachments alone for that are over 100 pages. That's in addition to the forms that we had to complete. They have 30 days then to respond, but I think we've made our case. We'll know by mid-January, I believe. And then we can get to the task of acquiring the property. The Mechanicsburg Museum Association received just short of $4,000 from the Mechanicsburg Area Foundation, and they are among those organizations who are being recommended for a land partnership grant. That was to be announced this Thursday. That date has moved to the 17th, which that meeting is simultaneous with your staff meeting. What is that? I'll also be presenting Taylor's case though that day, so I'll go for Mechanicsburg. We also have made requests totaling $80,000 to other organizations for Frankenberger Tavern and Gardens. We have a hefty amount, a sizable amount, bigger than we've had in a long time in the loan pool, and that's good because I hope we'll be utilizing that for Taylor's project. That's what I have in addition to Small Business Saturday was last Saturday. You know that you can shop local every single day. You could go to Joseph James, who celebrates 20 years in business this year. I got something nice for your significant other. Any questions for me? All right.
Was that directed to Scotty?
Oh, and the ring fits.
Feeling the pressure.
She'll try that.
Finance and administration order, Councilman Winchell.
Nothing, I'll turn it over to Patrick.
Sure. One of the things that council just passed through ordinance is the implementation of a property maintenance appeals board. So what council needs to do is make a recommendation and on who can be on this board. And so what we've suggested as staff is that we reach out to a member of the planning commission, a member of the HARB, and we do have an outgoing council person who may fill the role nicely of somebody who has the expertise and knowledge of being a council person for the last 20 years to sit on that board. Not putting you on the spot or anything. But we felt that the way that the solicitor drafted the language was quite good, and that if we could find somebody on the planning commission with their expertise, the HARB with their expertise, and then somebody, perhaps John, with their expertise, there may be a way for there to be a seamless transition into having a board that's very well educated and can make decisions on behalf of Borough Council related to any sort of issues that we may have related to property maintenance. So we're just kind of looking for guidance there. And if John is interested, if he's not, no pressure, but we figured we'd start there.
Want to talk about that?
I don't know about my own.
You want to talk about that?
But thank you.
Without a no?
I'm sure there's others that would be better qualified for that.
We'll talk to the HARB and the PC, and then
All right.
give us a couple weeks to get back and find somebody
Okay,
else. But,
very good.
yeah, I may put pressure on you the next couple weeks.
That's fine, I'll let you know.
All right.
We're going to go back to the budget after the executive session, so we can move on from that.
Internal Review Committee, we don't have anything there. Municipal and Community Outreach. Councilman
No report, I think
Yeah, I'd like
Councilman
to,
Pellman has one thing to add.
yeah, a few words about the library, if you don't mind. Really successful concert at Appalachian Harley Davidson that was sponsored by the Friends of the Library. And as usual, Gary's band, Pentagon, was wonderful, and it was great attendance, and I don't have any figures as to how much money was made by that venture, but a really, really nice night for that event. Also, the Holly Trail House Tour. I mentioned this, I think, at the last committee council meeting portion. Sunday, December 6th. It's probably not too late, obviously, because they even sell tickets the day of the tour, but it's Sunday, December 6th from 12:30 to 5. It's $15 in advance, $20 the day of the tour. Something I want to mention, not only will several houses, beautiful houses locally, be opening their doors for people to take a look at how they've decorated for Christmas, but also there's the opportunity that day to look at the Frankenberger Tavern, the Union Church, and the museum. This year, they're not having a reception at the library where they usually have refreshments. They're having a wine reception at a business located somewhere near the library. Now, I don't know which business that would be. I don't know if anybody out there has heard, but there will be a wine reception this year in association with the Holly Trail House Tour. And I want to mention also that the library is closed the 24th and 25th of this month. That's all.
Thank you. Property and Parks, Recreation, Mr. Pellman.
I have nothing. How about you, Mark?
Just a couple of things. Rec board meeting on November 10th, went over the budget, some budget items, and wrapped up the year review. Basically, we went over things that going to be in the budget and what some things that were accomplished and some things for the goals for the next year. Proceed on. Also, just want to let everybody know that there was a Santa sale going on for the pool passes. Contact the rec office. They started today, go to the 22nd. Reduced prices in the pool passes. Recommend everybody look into those prices and buy your pool passes for next year. Also, there was no meeting for the month of December for the rec board this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public Works and Safety?
I have nothing, Mark. You?
Yeah, consolidation wise, the bylaws are still being reviewed and fine tuned. I'd like to thank the bylaw committee for the work that they're doing on that. I know it's a tedious process. We didn't have no meeting in November because of every way Thanksgiving fell in and everybody else having tried to get their meetings in November. But we are planning on having a meeting in December, approximately close to Christmas, probably around the 22nd, if I remember right.
Thank you. Are there any agenda additions for the action of Borough Council?
Yes, sir. One, motion to authorize Borough Legal Counsel to petition Commonwealth Court for review of its decision issued on November 20th, 2015 in Gahn versus Mechanicsburg.
We need a motion. So moved. Motion's been made. Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action on Resolution 18, 2015 in honor of the Mechanicsburg Area School District Marching Band.
You got it. Motion's been made.
I'll second.
Seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to advertise the 2016 budgets.
I'll make a motion that we table that until after the executive session.
Motion made to table.
Second.
Discussion. Discussion and possible action to advertise the meeting dates for 2016.
You have to vote on the motion to table.
Motion, I'm sorry.
That's my fault too.
Sorry. All in favor?
Aye. Discussion and possible action to advertise the meeting dates for 2016.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made, seconded. All in favor?
Oh, I got a question on that. I noticed there's two dates on there that wasn't changed, the May primary date and also the election date on the.
The May one doesn't get changed because it's a presidential year, so the primary is in April this year, so the May meeting doesn't have to get changed. And the general election is the second Tuesday, so the first Tuesday is still fine for the council.
Okay.
We checked the election dates.
Okay.
They're different because it's a presidential election year.
My mistake.
So it's okay now?
We're good.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to set the trick or treat date for 2016. Gotta get it out now. It's popular.
The 31st is a Monday. And we've had it on the 31st, we've also had it on the fourth Thursday.
I think most places have it on that 31st is trick or treat day, right?
Correct.
And I believe most of them have it on trick or treat.
It runs the gamut between communities. Yeah, it goes between the 28th and the 31st usually, so it's entirely up to you.
I will make a motion that we have trick or treat at night on October 31st.
You got it.
Motion's been made, seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to accept the resignation of Patrol Officer Kerry Benson effective December 23rd, 2015.
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Nay.
I know.
Motion to authorize Borough Legal Counsel to petition Commonwealth Court for review of the decision issued on November 20th, 2015 in Gahn versus Mechanicsburg.
So moved. Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Discussion and possible action to extend a conditional offer of employment to Richard Franklin Wolf III as a patrol officer of the Mechanicsburg Borough Police Department.
I'll make that motion.
Motion been made,
Second.
seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We will go into an executive session in regard to the budget. And there's going to be action after that. Yeah. There will be action after the executive session. Okay, we'll do this. you want any citizen comments before we go into executive session? Okay. Now we'll go into executive session.